Hello, Helen.
Hi, Rob. It's Friday. Yay! Even though it's holidays, there's something special about it. I think because your partner is home, if you have a partner, or your family might be back from university or wherever they might be, it just makes the weekend special. And I hope everyone has a special weekend, even though it's so cold.
It is freezing. It is very, very cold. I think it has snowed somewhere even.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Oh, actually, yes, the Cedarburg advertised snow this weekend.
Did they?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm quite excited that I'm not going to the Cedarburg. I'm not really a very cold person. I like the sun. I might or might not be moving along this weekend to somewhere warmer for a little bit.
Awesome. Lucky girl. Lucky.
Yeah. So we're here today to do our last session, and this is more an info session about what we've got to offer. So should we get going with our little intro? Let's see if it's going to play. Right, so we're back live, Helen, and we can, here's our holiday offering that we've had this week. We've done Google Earth on Wednesday. Hopefully somebody's done an armchair travel session. We did Canva yesterday. We hope you've Canva'd yourselves into a coma. And today
we're going to look at some things that Coach and the class are doing. And the mere fact that what we're trying to do is to create active learners, we're trying to create a capsule-line syllabus that is including making kids love their learning, engaging them, upskilling teachers and children.
Yeah.
And to integrate that whole creative and critical thinking that Early Birds was all about.
Yeah, and it's basically giving teachers a chance to take all those workshop skills that either they've got from Early Birds or from other places and actually see them in action.
To bring the habits of mind and the deboners and the whatever you've been following.
Thinking maps.
Yes, to bring it all together. So and we try to bring all of those elements into the 8 lessons that we write.
Fair.
So without further ado, this term we have food and farming, which is in the grade 5-4 CAPS geography. Yeah. And it's totally from the CAPS, every single section. Coach and the class always offer a comprehensive or written out lesson note for people who are visually and would perhaps like to print these, file them and have them. But notice in this particular lesson, you're going to be watching a video, and then we like you to think in pairs, and then we like you to think deeper. So we're really telling you how to handle that video explicitly right down to number 5, where you'd engage with worksheet 1, and everything is named correctly so that you'd know exactly how to find it.
And I think the important thing here is it's a stepwise walkthrough of the lesson.
Perfect.
So that you feel confident going into the lesson, that you know what the lesson flow is going to be. It's not just a resource and here off you go.
Totally. You're not doing this blind. And if you're not a visual person, we've done it in an auditory format too. And so there's going to be an auditory lesson. Coach in the classes, Food and Farming in South Africa, grade 4 geography, term 3, lesson 3. So today we're going to look at commercial farming. That is farming for everyone, not just for yourself. We're going to continue to grow their curiosity and understanding what commercial farming is and how it differs from subsistence farming. But we're going to work on...
And I think, Helen, we had feedback from some teachers that said they really liked that video teacher's guide that kind of, again, walked them through everything, and then they used the lesson plan afterwards to remind them what the video had kind of walked them through.
Totally. And if you're in a rush, most videos are under 5 minutes. You can literally listen to it in bed at night and say, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so it is all there for you. So it's a whole video summary of the lesson that's going to happen. Then many times when you're looking for resources that are really written into the CAP syllabus, you can't find anything and you search for days. So actually what do you do? But you rewrite it yourself. And so both of these notes we have curated. The one, where does our food come from, is something that where they talk about in the textbook about buying, growing, collecting, fishing, and hunting, but it's certainly not nearly as 21st century fast forward as this note would be, where we talk about the Maasai who steal a chunk of meat from a lion kill.
I love it.
Just so awesome. Or in the project on milk, where children have to make a poster using creative their creativity about milk and its benefits.
And possibly Canva.
Yes, definitely, because both of these were made in Canva. Just to give the kids the information. So there's like an information poster that kids can look at to easily get information, particularly thinking of people who have no technology.
Yes.
So we've made hundreds of these beautiful worksheets for everybody.
Oh, I love this.
Here's another one where I really struggled to find information on processed and unprocessed foods that were relevant. And so in this particular note, I try to make it look like a kid's magazine and not just a note.
Yeah.
And then we talk about hamburgers are great and takeaway food is great. And we talk about why we actually buy it, because it saves our mother's time.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a healthy option. It's making hamburgers and chips from scratch. And I just couldn't find that information. So I looked at resources and then wrote it myself. And then, of course, I've set up a comprehension, which not only is questioning about what the information, it asks you to make your own breakfast menu.
So you're applying the knowledge.
It's all totally applied. So it's a lot more a higher up the order thinking scale with Old Bloom. And then, of course, if we're going to ask you to apply your knowledge, it's definitely going to be in a mind map, but it's going to be a beautifully set out one. This is a fishbone one. And this doesn't have any squares in it for ZTech, but there is one for Tech Loaded with little squares in it that you'll pick up in a Google slide. Whereas this one's shown to you as a Tech Loaded format, but in fact, we also give it to you in the other way. And so what we're really saying is that we give you choice, this choice, because we know you want choice. Some people might like this and other people might like this, and there's a choice. And maybe you even want to give the kids a choice. That's your choice. You know, you can either all the same, or you can give out 15 of one and 15 of the other.
And it's amazing how kids love it if you give them some choice, because they feel like they're in charge of something and they're not just being told what to do every time.
Totally. And then, of course, we ask them to do a little self-project on farming, and particularly fruit farming. But in fact, this lesson, I think, has got 4 different layouts. And these are just 2 of 4 layouts where, once again, the teacher can pick one layout or the kids. And we've left some of it quite open. So fruit farming, and then you could write oranges, or fruit farming bananas.
Yeah.
And the next one just says farming, because say if you wanted to do crop farming like maize or sugar, you could. It's all there.
I think what I like about this as well is for children that are trying, I mean, they're only in grade 4, they're little still. They're trying to learn to be organized and how to put things together and what it should look like, and giving them a layout or a format really helps those kids that don't have those skills to get started at least.
Totally. So it's particularly in grade 4s where we guide them and help them like this. Later on, of course, we might even give them a format, but then allow them the freedom to not even use it, which is really cool.
Yeah. So moving on to our grade 5 module, Egypt has been quite a challenge because, wow, it's a big topic. It is massive. And it's been very exciting. So the way we approached this for the grade 5s is we had a story again, a little bit of, Amira and Sibu going on a little adventure. And actually that has been so much fun, is writing that.
I would buy it because I love the adventure, and I know that they actually fly, and we saw how we can see how they fly in Google Earth from Cape Town to Cairo, and then they go to the Cairo Museum, and then Giza, which is only 17 k's away.
Now I know.
And we know this on Google Earth, and we're following their journey and their exciting adventure.
And so that's, it's very grade 5 relevant. And then one of the other things that we've really highlighted in this module is getting kids to take ownership of making their own notes. So all through the story, Sibu and Amira are making notes in their notebook. And there's examples to try and encourage the kids to also make, and I know it's very hard for some teachers to not have the same note stuck in everybody's book so it looks beautiful, but note-taking is a skill we really need to develop in our kids.
Totally. So and recording, and we know how important keeping your own diary is, and this is a diary of your learning.
Totally. And then of course we've got a lot of digital integration as always. Some of it's fun, like this, the hieroglyphic typewriter. Helen, how long did you spend here?
So I went to edit this lesson, and I just went straight to this, and I wrote a whole hieroglyphics message, in fact, to somebody, wishing them a happy wedding day in hieroglyphics. I sent it to them, and then I sent the code at the bottom so they could work it out.
But there's all these fun things, and even though this is a digital tool, there is also the option to do it in a ZTech environment on
totally.
a worksheet.
Yeah.
And then, as Helen pointed out, we've curated a lot of content. We needed something, but we couldn't find anything online, and so we've curated it ourselves. The story of Amira and Sibu is curated, and then we've also found some really good sources and curated the actual activity around the source.
And this is an awesome activity. And that picture that you found is just great because it shows all the activities that were happening at the time.
Yeah. And it's hard. It takes long to find those things.
Always.
And then in grade 6, we've got democracy and citizenship in South Africa. I must say, putting this module together has been a huge learning experience. Our whole country is very interesting, especially at the moment.
and you wrote it particularly for South Africa with our democracy and the way we run our government, which is, I don't think you could find that material anywhere in the world. It
was very difficult to find. There was some material. So this particular video, there's a lovely group called Civics Academy South Africa, and they've got some great videos that I did use. But a lot of the stuff I did have to make myself because there just isn't anything available. And then there's a lot of the critical and creative thinking skills that we're trying to develop all the time in our lessons. So there's a video here. There is an ed puzzle with it, but it's actually not for assessment. It's more to stimulate thinking around what is democracy? Do we agree with it? What other forms are there?
I love this because you've generated a whole class discussion here. When I first thought, I thought it was a test, and I thought, oh, this is way too open-ended for a test.
Yes.
But in fact, it isn't. It's just questions to encourage open debate, which is exactly what CAPS wants from you.
And then afterwards we have that sort of conversion down into making your own notes again about what have you learned. So, and again, as Helen explained, there's a printable worksheet, and then there's a digital worksheet that you can send out to your kids, a Google slide, and they can type on there and store it in their portfolio. Again, content-specific videos, that's what we were talking about. I mean, this was hilarious looking at parties that we had in our last elections. Who knew? Keep it straight and simple.
And this is truly South Africans. Only us could have the keep it straight and simple party.
Exactly. So, that's why we've made it very specific for our stuff. And then there's creative thinking involved as well, designing your own party logo, and so many assessment opportunities as well, with rubrics or memos or whatever it is, so that the teachers don't. I've said assess this, and then you're not sure how to do that. It's all there, and really that's what we want. We're trying to coach you how to use this stuff in the classroom,
and to have continuous assessment just easily. By the way, whether the peers are marking it and you pulling the marks in, or the other way around,
and also giving kids different opportunities to be assessed. So maybe your creative kid really does well here, and maybe not so well in something else.
So creative intelligence, practical intelligence, analytical intelligence.
Totally. And then because I love doing these, the discovery rooms with a lot of different things in them. There's reading, there's videos, there's puzzle making, and there's an ed puzzle, a Google quiz that goes with this. And then don't feel, if you're a ZTech class, that you're going to miss out on all the excitement, because there is a printable discovery room with all the resources, the same puzzle,
out, and you literally would go to station number 1 and read this one.
So the teacher would print this out first and chop it up
and
into a puzzle, and they'd have to build it again, same as on the
lesson note will tell you that too.
Exactly.
So there are about 6 resources on this page.
There's actually 8.
Wow.
So, and of course, then there's a printable quiz at the end. That's exactly the same as the Google form, and it does have a memo, in case you're wondering. And then again, constantly developing those note-taking skills, summarizing, and there's a lot of quite high order thinking that needs to happen, or information that goes behind the judiciary.
This is critical thinking at its best, and a teacher might even assist you here, but the skill that's happening while you're making the note is so worth it. And that's what Coach in the Class is about, developing skills. And making children accountable and teaching them how to create this, because when they're in grade 8, they might be able to do this all by themselves and remember that they've done it before.
Exactly. And so if you're interested in any of these modules, you want to go and have a look and visit our store, you're going to go down into the modules Coach in the Class. Should we click on it? Let's just take ourselves there. Let's hope it goes there.
It's going there by the looks of things.
Hopefully it doesn't go into the back end. No, it's going into the front end. That's lovely. You'll arrive. This is our learner management system, and you'll see that all our products are there. You'll see the prices in dollars. Don't be scared. If you click on them and you pay in rands.
Yeah, everything is converted into 150 rand for 8 lessons. I always say it's a burger and chips. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And it says 130 lessons, but it's actually just all the resources that go behind it.
That's the lesson note, the worksheet 1, worksheet 2, all of that.
And you can see all the material we've created so far. And obviously we are constantly updating this and putting new stuff onto our learner management system.
Totally. I'm so excited about the topic I'm writing at the moment, but I won't tell you yet.
Is it a surprise?
It's a surprise, but I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Good.
So for today, that's a wrap.
Love it. Love it. Have a wonderful weekend.
And we won't see you next week because we're going to take a break, having done 3 in a row.
Yes.
But perhaps when you're back at school week 1, we'll meet up with you again.
Or you might not be at school. You might be at home, and we'll definitely meet up with you.
We'll definitely meet up online with you and give you share some tips.
Good. So have a wonderful, wonderful week or 2 weeks off, however many weeks you've got left. And we'll see you soon.